Dear Venerable sisters and brothers and friends, we are going to have a talk. For that, may everyone get settled down and give the consent with 3 times. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Namo tasse bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhasse. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhasse. Namo tasse bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhasse. Dhananda bhikkhu ye loke upayupadana cetaso aditthana vinivesanusaya te pajahanto viramati na upadiyanto ayang uccatananda sabba loke anabhirata sanyati. Dear Venerable sisters and brother, Dhamma friends, when we started this retreat back at our Nissarana Vanaya, we decided to take the Girimananda Sutta as the main subject matter for this whole series, and that particular discourse, in that particular discourse, the Buddha gives 10 kinds of perceptions, so therefore it is known sometimes as Dasasanya Sutta. But the key person related to this question, this discourse and this event was Venerable Girimananda. After him also this particular sutta is labeled as Girimananda Sutta. The event was, or the case history was, he was sick and Venerable Ananda, the chief attendant, visited him and found, and then the news brought back to the Buddha, reported telling Venerable Girimananda is sick, please Bhante, visit him and greet him so that he will be relieved. Taking this opportunity, the Buddha never visit him, instead teach Venerable Ananda these 10 perceptions and ask Venerable Ananda to by heart them and go and preach the same to Venerable Girimananda, the particular person who is sick, and by listening it, the disease will be relieved according to the Buddha. So this is exactly what happened. So we so far dealt with early perceptions, and last time we have taken viraga sanya, that means dispassionate, how to develop dispassion towards sensual thoughts and ill will and hatred. That means basically the other defilements, and exactly the same the Buddha teach soon after that Nirodha Sanya, that is, you just see the cessation part of these all defilements. So that is the part and parcel of the secret. When and where any bad thing or defilement or any other mental or physical diseases, by itself, in each and every event, they carries its very beginning, the middle, the transitional part, and then the end. So our mind, in the evolution and in the conflict in the societies, train only to see the beginning and then get reacted and become very agitated, frustrated, committed, and we fail to see the transient nature, the middle part of the event, and totally blind to the end of the event. So therefore, when and where something happened, we jumped in and taken the decision and get ourselves involved and committed, and we fail to see the flux, the changing nature of that very event, as well as completely absent to see the end of it. So the Buddha instead asked someone to be little patient, just wait to see the beginning, the middle and the end of the same object, and till that have a detached observation, detached mindfulness or diligence, then you may find, even though at the beginning it is giving so much of tension and defiling nature, that very thing is withdrawing by itself. So before that natural thing happen, don't worry about these kind of things. And then what happens is, you end up with this tension, end up with this disappointment and the worry. Just wait to see the just mere end of the physical phenomena or mental phenomena. Therefore, before coming to this kind of a deep layers of training, first the Buddha mechanically asked the disciples, take a neutral object and let it happen in a natural way, arise in a natural way, and then just wait till it come to the peak or come to the middle area and see how quickly they are transitional or evolving or going through different phases of metamorphosis. And even though you get involved or not, whether you volitionally engaged or not, whether your will is there or not, they are undergoing the same universal law and ceases to exist. So therefore just wait and just observe. So therefore in the Burmese language there is patience lead to Nibbana. If you patient enough to see anything arising is about to pass away and bound to pass away. And in the very first discourse the Buddha delivered to the group of 5 monks, and after the discourse, Venerable Kondanya, the eldest, that was the summary he told. Yang kinchi samudaya dhammam sabbantang nirodha dhammam. Bhante, what I understood out of your whole discourse is, anything that carries the arising nature have its own cessation. Anything arising is bound to cease off. So therefore why worry? And that is exactly the point when and where we be familiar or face to face with in-breath or out-breath, or rising mode of the abdomen or falling mode of the abdomen, or the left leg or the right leg, or when you are looking directly, when you are looking sideways, when you are bending your arm, when you are stretching your arm, when you walk forward, come backward, whatever the activity you do, reduce that activity as simple as possible, pragmatic as possible. Just observe the arising part and come to know this is the beginning of the same thing, and just wait to see its evolution and its coming to the peak, and when it ceases to exist, and giving rooms for another object to arise, and that is what it happened. That is what we call the flux, the flickering nature. So in order to see, you have to discriminate one particular event or one particular object. Otherwise, when they are happening in a multiplication, our mind can't comprehend it. So therefore delimitation, limitation, and reducing to one particular object, one particular event, and then focus diligently. Ultimately you will find that is the underlying principle in each and every phenomena in the world. So that is why we take one aspect, something like one object, something like in-breath, and just see the beginning, and then the middle and the end. So this is the thesis. But practically, pragmatically, your mind is not prepared not diligent enough, not ready and aligned enough to see the beginning. Because it is bewildered, amused, due to different other reasons. So therefore, more and more you observe these phenomena in a general mind, the Buddha, as well as any practiced yogi may understand you are only observe the phenomena only at the beginning. Because that is the point, the event is very dramatic, very gross. And then you jump from that to the another object before you wait to see the cessation of the same object, and jumping to the peak to peak. Therefore, you are not isolating, you are not delimiting one single object. And in order to show this, the Buddha says, even if you catch the object only at the middle, no problem. Understand the in-breath, understand the out-breath, catching from the very middle, and let it happen again and again. Next time when it is happening, make sure you can keep the in-breath and out-breath face to face. And when and where you develop familiarity, when and where you see some object with your noting mind, now it's a time for you to see the beginning of the object before, more than the last occurrence. And more you practice, you are bound to see from where does it come. And that is only possible in a recurrent objects. If the object is appearing and disappearing very fast, our mind can't train into that. That is why we are taking a recurrent object, and each time you are bound to see the beginning. And one day you can claim, not only that I can see the object, I can see the beginning as well as the middle of the object. That is a very great achievement as far as the single object is concerned. And more you practice, and that same thing ultimately lead to not only the beginning and the middle, that cessation also you can see. That day is the day you can claim you have seen the object. You have isolated the object. You have delimited the object. And that means not that other things are not happening, but you are adverting of the mind, focusing of the mind to one particular object is done, and you know what to look into. Not to just the middle peak of the object, but to see the beginning and then graduate to the end. And that is the point you are entering into vipassana. Up to that point you are training your mind, keeping face to face with the common object or your primary object, and try to see the beginning, the end and the middle and the end, amidst of all the distractions, amidst of all the other secondary objects. And so one day you will understand, you can claim, I can see the very beginning of the in-breath, and it come up to the peak and then ceases to exist. And then give the way to the out-breath. Out-breath also starts, come to the peak and disappearing. And this universal bell-shaped curve is a universal mental, universal phenomena. So that is what called sankhara. Whatever the sankhara you take, then its own beginning, its middle and its end. Never missing. But when it is happening in a multiple way and very flickering way, so isolating one particular part is a task. For that the concentration is necessary. For that the keeping the object face to face is necessary. For that to repetitive application, diligent effort is necessary. So it is a very heavy demanding thing. Once everything is being come up to the alignment, you can say mind is ready for vipassana, and that means amidst of everything you can see the beginning, you can see the middle, you can see the end, and let all the other things also happen, and you are not worried about the content of the object, but you see the beginning phase, beginning mode, middle mode and the end mode, whether it is physicality or mentality. So Upandita Sayadaw, he give example. If you look at the black and white TV, not well focused, and it is full of dots. When it is happening, if you really observe the full screen with dots. You can see each and every dot without missing has its own beginning, its middle, its end. Even the thousand of dots are happening, this principle is maintained. And it's amazing, no dots are clashing each other. Never. That means all the space is there, time-wise and the space-wise. In the same place, soon one dot disappears, another dot appears, ending of the last dot and the beginning of the next dot cut by the time, and in the same time in the screen, two dots appear, they are cut apart, far apart by space. So therefore this phenomena explain, even if you are looking at the TV screen, 1001 dots appearing, they never clash. Only the humans clash. Dots never. Never. They can live in the thousands, never clash, because they are working in the universal law and the space difference and the time difference. So in your mind itself, the hatred and the peace, both of them can live, no clash. Complete agitation can, and the complete serenity, concentration, completely can live in the mind, no problem. They never clash. Your bloody rational mind only can't comprehend it. Otherwise, mind can comprehend, mind can accommodate anything. So therefore, when and where you are about to see the beginning, the middle and the end of the phenomena, you find your mind is a stage not belongs to you. You are the caretaker. Many tragedies and comedies are taking place, but the stage is the stage. So when and where your mind is so advanced, so accommodating, so neutral, so mature to see the end of the phenomena, the miraculous thing happen is, even though it is detrimental, even though it is destructive, even though it is negative, even though it is nihilistic, you get stuck with that disappearing phenomena, you become blind to beginning and the end. Everything appears like cessation. Everything appears like cessation, because this is the first time in your life you focused to see the beginning, the middle and the end. End was so far blindfolded, that was a black hole. When and where you are to see the end, ultimately you find everything is disappearing, dissolution, everything is passing away and fearful. It is nauseatic. You feel like nearing your death. You feel like about to have a heart attack. You feel like have a high blood pressure and going to lose your control life. That is because for the first time you see Nirodha Sanya, the disappearance, something like that when and where the in-breath and out-breath is completely disappearing, and you are going to end up with a full space or full blank space. And if you are with the idea that you are being cornered and you are being outcasted and uncertainty, so all the kind of thing happen. That is because so far you were developing phobia towards the disappearing side. Now that becomes so common, so obvious, so under your nose, your rational mind is reacting. For that only the Buddha says you must have certain amount of the perception towards the dissolution. And when such a thing happens, even you see your mother is dying in front of you, even you see your child is dying in front of you, even you see your beloved house is under fire in front of you, you see this is what? This is nothing belongs to me or isolated to me or only to me. Everything disappearing is disappearing. So ultimately, with respect to the physical and mental phenomena, you are ready to accept your own death. If it is not trained, death will be a hell of a deciding thing. And before the sign happens, you may die due to the fear. That is the way you train little by little. So that disappearing part, it is always happening, but you turn the blind eye because your mind is always searching something auspicious, always finding something pleasurable, always finding something giving the self-notion or egotistic idea or something permanent. So therefore, that part was completely cut off. Now, slowly, as a religious business or as a spirituality, you try to see, there is nothing spiritual, there is nothing religious, because you maintain your mind, focus your mind to see the good side, beautiful side, permanent side, egotistic side. So therefore, this is being neglected. But the Buddha says, whether you neglect it or that is the part, once you ready to accommodate it, your mind becomes more mature. And when that happens, only the Buddha says, the sabbaloke anabhirata sanya, and that perception, the disenchantment in the whole world. So this appears more nihilistic. This appears psychological, committing suicide. So therefore, each and everyone complain the Buddha, he is teaching something suicidal, because they wanted to see only the good side. So other religious masters, they were very happy to satisfy the others, giving the beautiful side, omnipotent, omnipresent, everlasting thing. But instead the Buddha says, anything arising is bound to disappear, and you have the capacity, you have the maturity, but for that you have to reinforce it, you have to see it as it is, and therefore you have to at least to have the perception of disenchantment, what the whole world is, and for that everyone think we have to burn off the world or have to remove the world physically. No, the Buddha says, Idananda bhikkhu ye loke upayupadana aditthana binivesanusaya te pajahanto viramati no upadya. Instead the Buddha says, what you give up, disenchant is your of engagements. That means you have a lot of duties, responsibilities and commitments. These are called engagements and clinging. So at least give up in this very moment where you are doing mindfulness. At least when you are here, when you are developing here now I am, to understand these engagements and clingings, they are always hunting behind you. And whenever you also going to give any kind of recognition for them, even for a split second, even for here and now, you can't free of that. So therefore you have to train. If you wish to be here and now 100%, wholeheartedly, any engagement, any clinging, any mental standpoints or determinations, or your adherence or your likings and disliking, or your hobbies and underlying tendencies. So how to recognize them is a very difficult task, because you are the very person facilitating it, fertilizing it, nourishing it. So therefore, even for a split second, when you try to get rid of, it appears like getting rid of the whole world. The world represents in terms of engagements. The world represents you as your clingings and your determination and your hobbies and your underlying tendencies. So therefore, when you are ready on the philosophical level, when you are ready on the spiritual level, at least for 1 second, try to do away with all. It is not the committing suicide. It is not the destructive to the world. This is the only thing you can, this is the intrinsic mind needs to get the liberation. Getting rid of your slavery, the attachment to the outside on philosophical level. So the Buddha says, when and where you keep your moral restrainment intact, that means you are not doing harsh things like killing, stealing, sexual misconduct, and not using your verbal conduct in the disturbing way to the world, and then you restrain them, and then you go to a silent place and try to see your stream of consciousness, even though you are not physically doing killing, stealing, sexual misconduct, the sensuous thoughts are there, ill wills are there, harmful thoughts are there. So you have to understand the shadow is still there. Even though you are not talking, the discursive thoughts and the applying thoughts are full-fledged. So therefore you have to understand, even though willful action, physical or mental, their shadows are there, their continuity is there, their momentum is there. So in order to do away with that, you apply your mind to an obvious, verifiable, free of charge physical object. When and where you are keeping that physical object, that is to say in-breath and out-breath, that theoretically indicated that mind is free from that kind of the sense of thoughts, ill will or harm, or any applying thoughts to the lying, slandering, harsh words and kind of thing. Instead you know where the mind is. So that is the point where you are free not only from the physical misdeeds and the verbal misdeeds, you are free from physical deeds and verbal deeds. It is possible. When and where mind is face to face with the in-breath and out-breath, not only you are free from physical misdeed and the verbal misdeed, but total deeds. That is the point the Buddha says. You understand with your full effort to keep away all the other kind of thing, come back to the bare minimum of your existence, the most pure form of your stream of consciousness. So even when it is there, the mind bring back to the bare rock bottom, then the Buddha says, yecha chinteti, yecha pakappeti, yecha anuseti, arammana metang hoti viññānassa titiya. Your engagements, your clingings, likings and disliking, your determinations, and your adherence, that means your hobbies, they start to hover around your free mind, and you recognize they as your personality. You recognize them as my liking and disliking, something I have to protect. You consider this as my hobbies, so therefore you have a kind of a compassion, kind of a sympathy for these kind of tendencies, so they become the object for the mind to cling, kind to thrive and continue the existence. So therefore when and where the mind is concentrated and calm down, be aware or go prepared for this upaya upadana cetasa aditthana abhinivesa nusaya. Your ceteti, any determination, any result oriented approach, any kind of demand and supply theory, any kind of likings and disliking. So you have to be aware. That means you are trying to catch who am I. Even after full concentrated mind, even after full back at home, you fully aware when nothing, any stimuli given, what are the natural visitors, what are the gate crashers going to come and occupy my stream of consciousness, then you can understand the hobbies. Then you can understand your tendencies. Then you can understand your likings and disliking. Then you can understand your personality traits, and that is a psychiatric analysis or free association. And if you have favoritism for that, again you back at squarely back at the defilements. So you have to clearly understand when it happens and not to entertain it, but be very diagnostic. And that is the part Buddha says, I can't do it for you. I really give the serious alarming for you whenever the stream of consciousness is completely free of then and there defilements, these tendencies. Yancha cheteti, yancha pakappeti, yancha anuseti. Your engagement. The many new crafty things come into your stream of consciousness. Many ways to earn, develop, how to be smart, how to get the one-upmanship with the competitors, everything comes, and therefore many people says, when you meditate the creative ideas, productivity increases, and they do not know they are the defilements for their existence. And many those who are selling meditation for healing and the therapeutic value, they are the thing they are advertising, and never Buddha even thought about that kind of a minuous use of meditation. That is what one has to be very careful. If you are short of Nibbana, you will be again taken for the cyclone and completely thrown against the suffering existence. So understanding what are the tendencies, understanding what are the engagement, understanding what are the clingings, how much you must be critical, how much you must be surveillant, self-critical to note them. That part never understood in the Western psychology. Western psychology understood this as something positive. The Buddha, he says, this is the way Chetana, will say your willpower, or your volitional activities, or your determination, everything ultimately going to take you for a ride. So boiling down everything, Arthur Schopenhauer, about 250 years ago, he told, each will is evil. Each and every will is evil, and then the Western psychology went for a 6. And they thought it is completely nihilistic, it's a completely destructive, but the Schopenhauer was a decent man. Luckily or unluckily, then Nietzsche came. Friedrich Nietzsche, he whacked that idea completely across the Western thinking, and that is what in the Buddha, in teaching, Sabbe Sankara Dukkha. Sabbe Sankara Anicca. Each and every willful action is Dukkha. Each and every willful action is Anicca. So for the Buddhist, of course, will not be happy to see your will is always evil, or it is ill will. It happy that anything you do is destructive. Anything you do willfully destructive, because it disturbs the present moment. It pulls you away from the present moment. Even for a split second, mind cannot live without this will, without this volitional activity. So therefore, when you deep go down, the volition, the will, the fabrication, the creativity, the productive nature, this is the one pull you forward just like a carrot for a donkey. Carrot is hanging, so donkey is pulling. Ultimately, master gets the job done. This is the way Maha is putting the snare, and we feel carrot is very beautiful. It's a pressure for the donkey, so it is ever pulling, but the carrot never comes closer. It is always hanging in front of you. This is what. So if someone to understand the volitional activities, the will, at least for one split second, for the purity of your present moment. Here now I am. You have to understand how much your engagements, how much your clingings, or how much your possessions, your assets, how much your determination that I will do this and that, and how much your hobbies are pulling you here and there, and you hardly you can understand they as negative. Hardly you can understand. This is the way that Mara is putting the snare or putting the hook, and each and every hook carries the tasty thing. But when you are going to have it, you will be out of water, the fish out of water. So at least for a split second, at least on the perception level, to understand is hardly you can think about unless otherwise you meditate in this very life kind of objective. Short of that anything, this appear like something very, very nihilistic. So therefore the Buddha says you have to understand when and where you see disenchantment and the cessation, then try to make at least one thought moment free of these willful actions and the future planning and underlying tendencies. So after presenting these three in the Cetana Sutta, here of course the longer list, easier to understand, when and where you try to meditate, that is to say non-judgmental thought moment. You must not be judgmental. You must not be assuming yourself, so unassuming, non-judgmental and evenly suspended attention, suspended decision. So when that happens, the total silence. And Cetana is gone. And then the Pakappedi, your prolific thinking, your productivity and get the fame, gain kind of thing, they run in the more normal momentum, and you can understand they appear like thinking about your well-being, even absence of your willful action, even absence of your volition. Ultimately what you happens is becoming a slave to this kind of a prolific thinking. When and where you try to stop, they completely declare war. If it is for your well-being, they must listen to you, but you can't stop it. This is what we call Western mind or thinking mind, not that West and East of the globe, but many people give Nobel Prize, Magsaysay Prize for this kind of creative thinking. And that is the way people are leading for more and more creative thinking and thinking. But the Buddha says it is a bad habit, you can't do away with that. So therefore that must be your prime task, at least for a split second. Understand the momentum. Understand this thinking pattern and don't fertilize it. Don't nourish it, and just see, even then it is such a tendency is happening, more and more you have this kind of perception to disenchant with the whole world. That means you are trying to do away with worldly things. Or let the thing happen, you are not going to get committed. You are not going to give any volitional additions, volitional kick, or never recognize your hobbies, never recognize your likings and disliking. Personality traits, recognize they as something acquired in terms of civilization, in terms of education, in terms of conditioning, in terms of learning, and that can be de-learned. That can be deconditioned only for human beings. All the others are completely instinct decided. Human being can entertain the neuroplasticity and redo it. So that never you can do for another person. That you never you can do for the future or other places. Only here, only now, if you go prepared. And then only the Buddha says you can understand the underlying tendencies. Once the Cetana and Pakappana is being checked or under control, you can see the tendencies, natural tendencies, your underlying tendencies, anusaya, is working, and each time they work, if as far as you are not seconding them, as far as you are not appreciating them, the catharsis happen, they get exhausted, they burnt off, and never you try to react, never you try to assume it. So try to have a status of neutral observer. Everything is happening, You never claim them, you never second them, you never worry, you never assume, you never react, and just observe. That is the only thought moment you can say you are living. All the time you are partial, you are in a dream, you are hallucination, you are dope, you are in a addiction. This is the only thought moment you can understand, free of anything. You are just being. It's so simple but very difficult because of condition. Because of this, our teaching methods, and ultimately we have taken something biased as a neutral or medium, and we try to achieve that biased thing as my hobby, or as my determination, or as my well-being. And when and where you chase, more and more you success, that means more and more you eccentric. So bring it to the middle and you understand, then the Buddha is waiting. In that place Dhamma is waiting. In that place Sangha is waiting. And that place your moral conduct come up to the peak. So morality come up to the peak only when and where you tackle the fabrication in your mind. The creative thinking in your mind, willful thing in your mind, volitional thing in your mind. Therefore Buddha says, unless otherwise you determine for yourself, no one can do it. If whenever you are not determined, if someone is going to do, it's an utter interference into your psychology. It's unhuman. So therefore you have to decide, and when and where you achieve, you find it is a purest form. Mind is fairly free from any volitional activity, but full-fledged living. My 100% you are living, it is not biased, it is not paralyzed, and you see, for that no any learning necessary, no any formulas necessary, no any prerequisites are necessary, but due to our conditioning or due to our biased approach, always we find excuses, we find way out. So imagine a mind without any volitional activity, no any perception regarding good and the bad, correct or wrong, nothing, no personal, no envious, and no feelings searching for pleasure principle or hating any pain, no feeling about the beginning, the middle and the end of the physical phenomena. And that is there you can see you are born in this earth. As far as you are born on this earth, you are subject to the gravity. You can't do away. Now you are born space odyssey, no gravity. You can see floating with respect to the distance from the world. So this is also disenchantment from the whole world. You mentally leave aside from this sphere where the gravitational forces are working, and when you go out and look at the world, and you can see all the world beings naturally subjected to this gravitational force. But there are some other dimensions, there are some other alternatives, and that is what the Buddha is telling. And that is why astronauts can train. They can't train inside the world because everywhere it is gravitational force, but there are some specific dives in the plane. They can have 30 minutes, they can cut off the gravity and train it, not more than 30 seconds, half a second. So ultimately when they go space, how can they explain to the earthly, worldly beings that there is a place, no gravity? But we have to believe. We understand the gravity. And with respect to gravity, there are some places, no gravity. So that is what the Buddha says, reduce slowly, the gross, transgressional kind of uncivilized physical and verbal deeds. That's called the moral code. And then try to keep the mind focused, single with one verifiable, recurrent object, and do meditate to the cessation of that very object and see the stream of consciousness. See the continuity, see the being and understand what a drama. Never claim this as me and mine, but this is of your past karma, or your likings and dislikings, or your personality traits, or your hobbies, and observe them as an outsider. You can see what a panoramic scene you can see if you determine not to react. If you determine not to assume it, not judgmental, and then you can see, by observing them in such a distance way, you are fully living, and it's the only thought moment, if at all you are doing any well-being towards you. All the other times, your responsibilities, your engagements, and your clingings, your determination, and your adherence, and all the underlying tendencies pulling you here and there, and no peace of mind. So therefore, with the person so much engaged in the whole life with the engagements or responsibilities, duties, clingings and kind of thing, they can't think about it. Because they appreciate their engagements are their prime duty to the humanity. Nonsense. Nonsense. You have to be a human first and all to understand the humanity. That is why the Buddha did himself and said, you also claim yourself as these engagements are your duties to the country, duties to the family, duties to your religion and kind of thing. But at least for a split second, if you can't get out of that, you are a slave. You are self-amusing, doped, alcoholic, drug addicted. So these are the addiction. How can you say that man is addicted to alcohol, that man is addicted to the drugs, but you itself is very dangerous. You don't know your addiction. It's very dangerous. That's why the Buddha says, you mad fellows are going to correct other mad fellows. All the mad people say, the other people must be mad that I put me into the asylum. But they have their own rationality. We put everything together and put him under the jail, and we claim one person crime something and we kill him. Who gave rights for us to kill another person or put another person into the this thing? That is for our security. We get together and we make a consent or make a conventional truth in order to corner that particular weak person. That's a total unfair judgmental the jurisdictional law it is working. The might is right. But the Buddha became might as well as found how unfair your judgment is, how unfair your clingings, how unfair your adherence. It is completely based upon desire, conceit and egotistic. So first you understand it, and layer by layer or perception by perception, when you work further, it is a difficult task but not impossible. Even only for a split second. And moment you go there, if you can understand the release, if you can understand the relaxation, unbounded, the limitless state, then you have to fix aims. Am I to maximize this or become a slave to these tendencies, to these clingings, to these engagements, to these duties? And if you feel so, no harm. You can live your life completely like a draft animal pulling the cart and be proud about your load. But the Buddha says, of course you have another alternative. So in this particular discourse, it is not going to give the total emancipation, but says the value of the perception itself. That is the place where you can think about the healthy mind. And it's a primary, it's utmost necessity for a healthy body. So whenever Girimananda to listen, even if you sick, even is about to die, your engagement never ceases to exist. Your clingings never ceases to exist. They again come and again torturing you, and you are adhering and everything. And if you train it while in the healthy way, there are some gaps, there are some places, there are some strategies in order to do away with that And when and where you focus upon that or believe upon that, that makes your mind healthy, very human, and that healthy mind can cure the bodily diseases and ailments, and that is the injection the Buddha gave to the sick people. Not any surgery, no any injection, no any anesthesia, no any panacea, but to make your mind free from all the engagement and the clingings and adherence and the mental determination or standpoints, consider they as sickness, cancers, the cancers. So many people think that can be possible for whole life, that may be the teaching of the Buddha. No, now he is talking about at the level of perception. At the level of perception, whenever you made up your mind up to that perception, and now then only you can set your target, how much I am going to live up to the point where no volitional activities, no will. This is called tadi, or suchness, or called Taoism. You completely let the nature to run. You try your best to fit into the nature rather than adjusting the nature, adjusting the world, adjusting the people, adjusting your body. Nothing. You just try to be, and that is the way a child live up to the age 6. They never change. It is not therefore impossibility, it is a possibility, but the thing is how to decondition, how to de-learn it, and we people try our best, looking at each other's face, how to de-learn and make the stream of consciousness not only free from transgressional kind of defilements, not only free from obsessional kind of defilements, and try to catch, when you are fully healthy, about even these underlying tendencies and directed dispositions. And when that happens, that is, you are doing the prime thing only human can do, healthy human can do. So that is what the sasana means, the message of the Buddha. So you have to imagine how much preparation, how much preliminary works you have to do, come up to that level. That is why these kind of perceptions are not presented for the beginners. After long practice you have to set it, and that in return appreciate early perceptions like impermanence and the non-self characteristic. They are reciprocally gathering the momentum and going hand in hand. So hope this will helpful everyone to continue the practice and try to see total freedom from not only the transgressional, not only the obsessional, occasionally with latent tendencies too. With that hope, I would like to sum up the today's talk. Thank you very much for listening. We have taken somewhere around 1 hour, so balance of the time we can use for question and answers.
Dear Bhante, following is the report of my yesterday evening sitting. At the beginning stage, the rising and falling of abdomen were synchronized in speed, each of them. Each rising will be followed by falling, and then rising, and then falling, and again. After 15 to 20 minutes of sitting, I saw changes. The first change occurred like this. Falling of abdomen took longer than initial stage, down, and abdomen took longer than initial stage. Okay, down, and down a little bit.
turn the mic also to your side. Your side. No, you have to turn your side. No, don't turn yourself. Turn mic to your side.
After 15 to 20 minutes of sitting, I saw changes. After 15 to 20 minutes of sitting, I saw changes. The first change occurred like this. Falling of abdomen took longer than initial stage to go down and then followed by a stoppage. Only then the next stage, next rising began. After this first change, each falling went down deeper, then followed by a stoppage, then rise quickly. That means a long falling followed by stoppage, then a rising in fast speed. This observation lasts for 20 to 30 minutes. During these 20 to 30 minutes, there were strange shaped things coming from corner of the black screen in front of me. I do not know how to describe them. Some like breadcrumbs, some like beehive sectional view, some like long pieces of straws bundled together.
I will hold it for you.
Try to distract me from observing the abdomen. I looked at them and then went back to the abdomen. I did not lost the long falling and stoppage and quickly rising of abdomen. There were also occasions that I felt I need deep breathing. I lost the abdomen observation. The observation became seeing the airflow at the chest, rising up of chest and shoulder, then shrinking of abdomen. The airflow observation was that the directions were up and down. After this up and down of chest, the abdomen rising and falling became shorter, but there was still stoppage in between rising and falling. But when I have thinking how to trace all this to you, I lost the abdomen observation, did not see the stoppage anymore. I hope to hear comment from you. Thank you.
Can someone call the operator here? So here if someone feels uncomfortable, they can move forward. Here shading. Please come forward. Connection with so with the stand it will be the same. Go to hell in America, connected me. Are we to wait everyone till everyone comes? Or no. Never mind, we can continue. So this statement is good reporting. It is due to the gradual development of our dialogue and communication. This is how when and where any object rising and falling or in breath and out breath, whenever they are come face to face, you just see at the beginning the middle, the gross part, and the Buddha is trying his best to, once that is assured, to bring the attention to the beginning of the in-breath, beginning of the out-breath, beginning of the rising, beginning of the falling, whatever may be the object. That's all yogi has to do. Once you see the beginning and the middle, end is a gift. End is an endowment. So whenever that happens, when you see the middle repetitively happening, and when and where time permits, you try to see the beginning and the middle, and when that is happening, the Buddha gives, the end is an endowment, it's a gift, you are bound to see the beginning, the middle and the end. So this is the flowing kriya, yatha bhuta jnana darsana, or yatava darsana, or start to see things as they are. This is the beginning of vipassana. When that is going to happen, he or she is going to see all the possible facets, all the total panorama, all total episodes, all the total drama, and unbelievable. So far you were the judgmental, decisive, only after seeing the middle. Now instead you see the end and the beginning, and that is the point you become, if at all, qualified to make a comment. But instead what happens is mind becomes so bewildered, and you do not know left and the right. So much so it is difficult, so there are so much faith, so much prepared minds to familiarize this situation. When and where you see the beginning, the middle and the end, difference between objects disappear, the content of the object becomes nullified. You just see beginning and the end, beginning and the end, beginning and the end, and ultimately you lose the seer observer status. The observation only happens. Just seeing happens, no seer. So when that happens, it is like dissolving your ego, dissolving your conceit, dissolving your desire, and ultimately you become part and parcel of that very observation. So when that merging happens, it appears like disappearing yourself, and therefore many people feel uncertain, fearful, doubts. So this is the spiritual guts. One has to cope up with this situation. So 1001 times you have to do so many of doubts, so many of uncertainty, so many of fearfulness, so many of vastness, so many of difficult to explain happens. So that is why it's called profound, that is why it's called spiritual, that is why it's called philosophical. So but only the task after that, if at all the yogis has to perform, is let it happen repetitively. When next time you do, again you start with the middle, try to see the beginning and the middle, and then due to the momentum, you are trying to see beginning, the middle and the end. So if I am to give a order, 2, 1, 3. 1, 2, 3, beginning, the middle and the end, you start C2 as a beginner, and then your whole effort is with the 1, the 2 and then 1, and the third part and the end is a gift. So the day you find to see 1, 2, 3, your whole task is finished. Your duties are finished. All the others are now going to unfold. For that, you have to keep on that phenomena taking place. So, early part, just see, කොහෙද යන්නේ කියේ? මේ පැය විතර වැඩක් ගන්න තියෙන මේ පැය ඔයාලා. ඒ දවසෙම ඉන්න ඕනේ. ඈ? අර මැෂින් එක ගාව ඉඳගෙන ඉන්න ඕනේ කියේ. නැත්තම් මොකද යාළුවා? So when it is happening, you have no refuge of your mother, father, education, experience, spirit, nothing. You are stuck, faced with the situation, nothing happened, but the rational mind is declaring war, becomes so uncertain. So you can understand how much we frighten of the truth, how much we are afraid of the liberation, new things. So therefore we never, not a single person is a girl guide or a boy scout. You are never ready to do any new things. You are so traditional, so conventional, so in a rut. No one is radical. That is why the Buddha says, try to be a reflection of radical reflection. That is what they call Yodiso Manasikara. So the Buddhas do not know how to do it. He says, without that, no go. Again you are going to sink in the same rut, same rationalization, same conditioning. You again and again fall into the same rut. So you have to accept it unconditional, unassuming way, an unreactional way. So you may understand the human being, becoming a human is, this is the place and this is the chance you have to employ before you fall into sick, before you fall into the old age and death, because at that time you can't do it. So therefore, this is in my vocabulary, in the female life, there is a stage called attaining to the age. This is the attainment to your age in meditation. Till that you are not sexually mature enough. Till that you are developing your chemical body. One day you attain, then onward you are fertile to have a baby. On the males we are not throwing parties for attaining to the age, but for the females in Sri Lanka it's a big party. I don't know how it's in the West. So this is something worth party. So someone ready to let the whole panorama happen, unshaken, undecided, unassuming, just observe with the faith on the Buddha, with the faith on Dhamma, with the faith on Sangha, and sacrificing your body and the life, and then the thing happens. But we are so, demanding, we putting conditions. Under such circumstances, there are no condition you can put forward. Total surrender, total lack of the adamant nature. This is the place you become completely soft, completely mobilized, and any person can reshape now. So when it is happening again, conditioning and deconditioning, conditioning and deconditioning, it says that it is like a lump of clay in the potter's hand. He can put it into any shape and again reshape and again any shape and again reshape. Once it is killed, never finished. Then 20,000 years it takes for that killed clay to come back to the normal. So before killing or burning, you can shape anything. This is what you call the neuroplasticity. Very recently only scientists came to know the neuroplasticity Buddha knew. If you have the faith, if you have the preparedness, any time the electric thing can happen. So the circumstantial thing can happen. So prepared for that change is what you call yogi. That's what you call celibate life. That's what you call renunciation. That is what you call spiritual life. So there are some peaks when you are passing through 2, 3, then you may understand on the perception level or in the sanya level, and later it becomes a challenge for you how to verify it, how to live up to that. So therefore it is something good, encouraging account of the meditation. Please continue.
Venerable Bhante, regarding Anapana meditation, is there a difference between Anapana meditation done under a well-lit room and Anapana done under a very dim-lit room? Please explain.
No, at the beginning everything valid. When the meditation mature, mindfulness mature, you can you can do under any circumstances. So therefore as a beginner you give the maximum conducive conditions, maximum facilities, and then slowly expanding the scope, and that is what you call the noble quest. You meditate under light, under the dim light, under the noises, complete silence, without moving your bodies. Every time you must understand mindfulness must continue, but do it when the time permits, when the circumstances are valid. Don't do it. Let them happen. Try to keep the flame of mindfulness burning, and without adjusting things. Ultimately what happens is, at the beginning the beginner may come and ask Bhante, how to develop mindfulness, when to develop mindfulness, what is my primary object, what is my sitting posture, everything. But once given the mindfulness, you may ask, where can the mindfulness can be broken? Not in a single thought moment the whole day. At the beginning very difficult to find a conducive place, but later you may find wherever you may be, whatever your posture may be, whatever the time, mindfulness is intact. So this is what you call the maturity. This is what you call the familiarization of the mindfulness. So at the beginning, give maximum facilities. That is in any skill that is the case. The beginners must give all the facilities. Once you develop, you can classroom education put with the field education, and the field education go to the professional education. That is what it happens. So no norms there, depends on your maturity of your mindfulness.
Venerable Bhante, Thero during walking meditation, first I focused on right and left foot, then I focused on the sensation of each right and left foot. Since I was focusing on the sensations of the feet, after some time I realized I was now noticing just the sensations and not about which foot, that is right and left foot. I was looking at sensations like hard, soft, close and near, or distant and soft sensations. My right leg felt heavier than left leg. My mind was wandering in the beginning, and each time I remembered to bring my focus back and onto my feet. I congratulated myself and it made me happy. Venerable Bhante, was I not concentrating hard enough, since later on in the meditation my attention was on the sensations of each feet and not on which foot itself. That is, I was noticing the hardness, softness and intensity rather than on which foot it is coming from. Please advise.
There must be a fair proportion of congratulation for me also. Isn't it? That he or she is congratulating herself or himself without mentioning even my name. It's unfair. Isn't it? So therefore at the beginning you must have all the conditions, all the details and everything. Once it's gathered the momentum, catch this thing, it can run under any difficulties, and therefore at the beginning take time, give the maximum conditions. Once it is gathered, you may find 1,000 ways and means how to maintain the mindfulness amidst of all the invariable characteristics, a lot of variables. So that is a very aesthetic, very adventurous task one can continue. So again, when the mindfulness is broken, you must assume the beginner's mind. Just like a beginner, and again catching slowly. Once it come up to the momentum, it carries its early skillfulness. So therefore ultimately again and again you learn the beginner's mind, and once the situation come up to the maturity, you know how to take the main advantage of the situation, and ultimately the time gap from the beginner's mind to the maturity is shorter. Quickly you can go into this familiar situation, and that is how you can introduce mindfulness into the multitasking life from the meditation center, and therefore it is amazing. At the beginning it is painfully slow, but once developed, it is catching and spreading, diversifying in enormous speed. And while that is happening, you are giving the condition to get thrive, get well rooted, and once get rooted, it is no more your baby. It is growing. It's become a endowment or gift for you, and only you can do it. You can give some blocks, disturbance, and put it under difficulties, but still under any difficulty, mindfulness know how to maintain it, and then only you will understand it is not something you develop, it is already in your mind. You are giving a chance, you are giving challenges, you are giving preparedness, and you can understand other person also has the same potential. But if he or she is not practicing, not willing to do it, you have no right to ask other person. Only thing you can say, being a human, is you are already enlightened, you don't know. Mindfulness is tapping on your door. Whenever it is tapping, if you open it, it is there. So when you go a little advanced, you feel that preliminary parts are so childish. Is it something to talk about like? But when you started, it was so profound, it was so difficult. But from bottom level, you can see other people can't understand it. Why is that? It is such a communication gap, but the Buddha never underestimated the beginner's effort. He gives so much of value, not to the advanced yogi's effort, but the beginner's effort, because it is decisive. So he prepared the situation with a full embracing attitude. The beginner coming to the stream is the most difficult. So once it is developed, Buddha says, I don't care about you people, now you know what to do. It is my duty to give that attitude or give that mindset. Once given, you, even if I say to stop, you never stop. So when the people come to the Panitarama, he tried to also try his best. And whenever someone is reporting good thing, once in a way, and he says, Bhante, now I have practiced and I am about to go. Then this is my report. Then he says, can you give me back that experience and go? No. No one is willing to give now. He says, it is you earn in the Panitarama. Why not you give it to back and go? No. They possess it. They value it so much and they know how to develop. So therefore be very patient when you are, if someone is interested in, and if you happen to teach, don't think from your standpoint. Just see from the beginner's point of view, and then you also become rejuvenated and you try your best to give the idea, and once given, we take it up and catch the momentum. So therefore this is also something, do this kind of any noble quest, no problem, as far as you know everything you do is to get the continuity of the mindfulness or steadfast mindfulness.
Venerable Sir, in my walking meditation, I heard a sound like, in inverted commas, trees. It was first noticed indoor walking meditation at home, then in this retreat at indoor, and also something happened in walking meditation during in specific walking path. Most of the time I heard at the point of turning. Few times at home it occurred, not in meditation but during day-to-day work. Sitting meditation yesterday night, similar sound was heard. It happens around the head area. Could you please advise me?
How do you introduce the creak sound?
It's a crease, C-R-E-E-Z, crease, C-R-E-E-Z.
Can the person give little bit of more characteristic, more? It's a continuous.
It's not my question, I'm just trying
No, you are not qualified then to answer. The person that ready to, that can explain little natural characteristics and some more information about this creek. It will be a good topic to discuss. So this is.
It's something like
The person who is written this question, I am asking.
It's something like sound. I cannot explain.
So it's a continuity?
No, just turn, I get it. Then turn the round, I got it.
It is not the sound by your feet touching the ground?
Around my head.
And in what other places, other circumstances where you experience?
When I am doing my work, housework.
Do you feel you are lonely when it is there? Alone? Cornered? That no one is right round there, that I am the only person living life? So that if it is all, what you have to do is, you have to familiarize it and see what are the places, what are the circumstances, what are the postures where I can go into that sound, and see your impression to that sound. Is it a good omen or bad omen? It is loneliness or aloneness? Is it solitude or corner? Is it peaceful and releasing or pressure? What kind? So if you are a mentally ill person, that is what you call madness. They consider I am cornered, I am isolated, no one is close by, so develop tension. So develop the pressure. So if you are a spiritual person, consider this a sign of solitude, sign of freedom, sign of aloneness. So therefore this sound is throughout in our life. But we are so busy with others, so therefore we are not listening. So therefore it is called sound of silence, or many names are there. This is like a jet engine is working, there's a creak sound. And mole crickets, when you go to the forest, the sound is there. And when you become lonely, if you are climbing to the snowy mountain and no one is close by, you are throbbed with the sound and you feel no one is close by. So therefore some people become very allergic to that, appear like I am cornered like. Spiritual people consider this is a back at home. You are up to yourself. So we translated that book, Sound of Silence. You can get down from the English book, you can get down from the Amaravati monastery. Venerable Amaro wrote the book, the Sound of Silence. And this is being mentioned in the Bible, in the Quran, the Tripitaka, no direct mentioning, but Robinson Crusoe, all the people did any exploration, they told at a junction I started to feel kind of a sound, and it is not man-made, it is kind of a, some people say it's coming out of your bones, some people say it's the sound of your eardrum, and lot of ways they tried, but it is nothing spiritual, but indicates mind is now at home. It is not otherworld, it is not other directed. In that sense it is a kind of a, but when it happens, untrained minds, uninstructed mind consider this as something bad omen, lonely, no one to talk, and mind is the පාලු මුස්පේන්තු මොනවාද ඒවට සිංහල වචන ගොඩක් තියෙනවා. පාලුව දෙවනත් කරලා උඹ නාඩං උලලේනෝ. ඒ උලලේන සින්දුවෙත් ওই සවුන්ඩ් එක තමයි දෙන්න ගන්නේ. ඒ උලලේන රැයට අඬනකොට in Sinhala I am talking, ඒ උලලේන රැයට අඬනකොට මේ මනුස්සයා ඇඟේ හිරි වැටෙනවා, පාලු ගතිය, තද ගතිය එනවා. ඒ සමහරෙකුට තනි වුණාම මේ සද්දය ඇහිච්චාම අන්න වගේ පාලු ගතිය, තනි ගතියට තියෙනවා. නමුත් කැලේට ගිහිල්ලා භාවනා කරන කෙනෙක් මේක හරි පැත්තට දාලා ගත්තොත් මේක එනකොට තේරෙනවා දැන් මට කිසි බාධාවක් නැහැ. මගේ හිත දැන් ගෙදර ඇවිල්ලා තියෙනවා. ඉතින් අන්නේ මේ ආකල්පය හදා ගන්නවා කියන එක ලේසි නෑ. So in the Venerable Amaro's book is collecting as much as information from different cultures, different denominations and kind of thing, how people mention about this sound of silence, and when it is happening, you feel amidst of people and they are talking, and you can go to the sound of silence and you are cut off from the communication, and you can just collect into yourself, and slowly when you introduce the sounds, again you come back to the society and you can understand the words and kind of thing. That kind of thing we used to do in Nilambe. We go and sit near the lake and Dr. Fernando is leading, listen to all the sounds, the most peak sounds, and try to see while listening the medium-sized sounds, and then see still the subtle sounds, and then come back slowly. When you come back, you start with this sound of silence. And again introduce the very tiny sounds, come to the middle and come to the peak sounds, and again you back at the lake side. So it's a journey, going and coming, and when and where you love yourself, when and where you become friendly with yourself, you are always with that sound. It is not a music, it's a flat sound, and the Buddha never mentioned about that. There are some similes close to that, but sound of silence is not there, but today meditators often mention it. Use it in an advantageous way to be unto yourself. Consider this as, now I am at home. This is a kind of an indication. I am not concerned about whatever happening outside, and if someone is blaming you, for example, unwantedly and unoriented way, then you can back to the sound of silence, and this will come and go above your head, not hit you. And that particular person ultimately become a joker. Because what he is talking never hit. Because I am not listening, I am listening to my inner sounds. So it will not hit you. So this is the way you can use it as a shield. And when I was in Nilambe, there was one German monk, immediately became monk, and next day he came and taught us. He's a master. He knows in which place and which posture and where he can get it, and he used this as a spiritual achievement. But of course it is not a spiritual achievement. The book that you mentioned, the Freedom, there that lady 2-3 times mentioned, I go and hooked up with the sound of silence. Okay, thank you.
Last evening I focused on in-breath and out-breath. While my head fell down, I heard a dip-dip sound when air flow inside and no sound when air came out. I continued as it was, then sound went off. Secondly, I felt stiffness at my forehead, burning sensation at back, as well as air movements through nostrils. I felt them simultaneously. I just noted them and focused on breathing. Please advise me.
Usually these things are always happening in the body, but you are not in the body. So therefore you don't report, you don't know. Whenever you become mindful and bring it here, it is like a power station. So much of activities are taking, you can't report and finish. That is nothing new, but this indicates that your senses are very focused, very sensitive, and messages are amplified. So appears so much of dramatic things within yourself. So this is nothing new. You have to understand, living means, metabolism means, it's an everlasting business, everlasting changes. And that is what the Buddha says, as far as you are outwardly eccentric, you never feel. You never feel the body. And if you are to feel, you never feel something good. Always it is irritant. Always it is unsatisfactory. So that is why people are searching about hobbies. They are happy to see the Michael Jackson's body, or Gamini Fonseca, or Mandi Fonseca, whatever may be, some or the other try to escape for some moment. Try to escape the signal from the body, because signal from the body is always or almost always a bad omen. You don't like it. You hate so much about what is happening inside. That is what the hobbies means. That is why the aspirations mean. That is what the responsibilities mean. That is what the some or the other you keep out of the present moment, eccentric. And whenever you come back home, this is what you have. And when you are about to sleep in the lying down position, when you are about to die, when you are sick, bedridden, these things become very prominent. But if you have meditated, nothing special. You are ready. That is the way you make yourself. These are rehearsals for you to be friendly with your body. So therefore mind that living is a very complicated thing, but making a lot of creak sounds, friction, heat, torturing, and that is why we always try to see other people, other places and other time, not to come back. But this is unavoidable truth. So therefore, it is nothing special, but indicates, now you are talking much about happening under your nose, and this is indicates mindfulness is fairly intact now. Please continue.
Sometimes as soon as I sit for sitting meditation, I feel vibration at my At such situation, should I focus on vibration, on in-breath and out-breath? Most of the time, I do not feel the breathing. Please advise.
So example I gave was, when you go to the seashore, either you can see waves or you can see the horizon. Both of them are same coin, two sides of the same coin. Wherever may be, you are at the seashore. As far as mindfulness is there are many objects. You can use the wave objects like in-breath and out-breath, or flat object like vibration. The flat object usually monotonous, usually boring, usually disheartening, usually fearful. So therefore you are happy with spikes, the wave movements or rhythmic thing. So, but you have to understand the shallow water make rhythmic and the deep water make flat. So when you become mature, you understand flat situation is more homely, more preliminary, more primordial, even though it is not pleasant. At the beginning you can do either, and whether you look at it or not, two sides are always available. So once you go and sit, moment you be aware that now I am sitting, then you are with the vibration. And if it is doubtful, and if you need any dramatic thing, then only you have to search for in-breath and out-breath. Otherwise, the flat vibrations are there. And last time also I mentioned, even if you take in-breath and out-breath, once it ceases to exist, again you squarely back to the flat vibration. On that time with more confidence. So therefore next time you will never worry about the in-breath and out-breath, unless otherwise there is a doubt. You just be with the flat. And not only in sitting, even in walking, even in standing, even in lying, that vibration is there. That is a sign that you are living. That is a sign that you are not sleeping. That is a sign that is you are not unmindful or fainted. I am living, I am awake, I am mindful. So there it is always coming and giving a signal, you are here and now.
Venerable Bhante, I have been meditating for a long while with in-breath and out-breath, anapanasati. So many times I have been able to get to a state of being without any thoughts, sounds or feelings, bodily and mentally. It's calm and serene, white and changes to orange. Yesterday, Bhante, you mentioned to watch and be at the end of the out-breath and said that the place to dwell and nirvana is there. I was able to do that and realize that there is no taking in the in-breath, dwelling on it or holding on to it. I was in a fully let-go situation. Limak, gatimak, sanyavak, vedanaවක්, kisiවක් නැත. Knowingly I was there for quite some time and thought, may my mind stick here. Again the colors changed and came back to the same calm state. Tears were pouring down my cheeks and the ears became warm. I felt so nice and peaceful, unexplainably. Bhante, as you mentioned, is it a feeling of nirvana? Though I have been in this state before and felt so calm and nice, I didn't connect it with nirvana. Please explain and let me know where I am. Thank you, Bhante.
Still no congratulations. Anyway, this is the indication that you can bring the attention to the primordial form, the undefiled form, and the day that becomes maximized, the day you see any time you can hook up it, that is what you call you are making use it. Now it is like a stranger, under certain circumstances, under certain alignments only you can go there. But your physical activities and verbal activities and your livelihood must be geared to maximize it. Wherever you go, whatever you do, always you must have the direct plug into, if it is necessary, to this situation. That means situation fairly under your control. So therefore, you have a heavy duty now, heavy task, how to maximize it. That is why it calls Samma Vacha, Samma Kammanta, Samma Ajiva. So verbal activities must never destroy this in you or others. That means don't talk about the sense pleasure. Don't talk about evil. Don't talk about the harming others. That means you are pulling yourself and that particular person also pulling yourself. So therefore you have to talk only the thing conducive for the peace, contentment, solitude, and of course peace of mind. And whatever you do, don't try to take sense gratification and torture yourself. Just try to be happy with what is available, the contentment, and do your duties if someone invites. Otherwise, try to maintain the least amount of energy burning, least amount of friction, and that it must be your bodily activity. And livelihood must be never exploitation, never killing others, never torturing others. If at all happening even in the partial level, take responsibilities. My living is a burden to others. Definitely. You know, we monks depend on foods from others, robes from others, dwelling from others, so we are utter burden to the society. Each time we are eating, we have to understand we are eating someone's food. So it is not for sex, it is not for beautification, not for anything but to keep the mindfulness. So wearing robes, the people are very poor, still they make an offer, but this is not for fashion or not for the beauty queen or any kind of thing. And whenever the dwellings are there, how difficult to put up a house. But still people offer. If you are going to say we are rich and he is poor kind of thing. So therefore your livelihood must be, whether you are earning yourself also, you are exploiting the nature. You are exploiting the other people. You are always one-upmanship. So that means exploitation. We can't be. So therefore your livelihood must be the least amount of burden to the other people. Then what the kind of a way of life, what the aesthetic way of life. Then only this situation becomes day in, day out. You are always with you. It's a huge art. It's a huge adjustment. And lucky enough, Buddha set an example. All the Aryas set examples. So you can see it is somewhat possible but difficult. Because of our ego, because of our conceit, because of our crazy for the lion share. So once that is happened, you have something to maximize, and still it is not achieved. And your potential you can see, possibility you can see. So you have the task of what to talk, what to do, and how to live. So that is what the sasana. That is what they exemplified in the sasana, how the early founders talk about, deal, work with, and their livelihood. So therefore, if you wish to get into the Nibbana sphere, you have to get the membership by your deeds, not by anything. So prove it yourself. So if that is the case, no harm, you can take this as a Nibbana. But it's a glimpse for the moment. It's a beacon for the moment. Make it your whole life.
Most Venerable Bhante, my meditation experience. 1. Walking meditation. Thanks to you, I can maintain good sati in walking meditation. I feel the sand under my feet, rolling and turning and adjusting according to the curves of my soles. I really enjoy that feeling. At times I feel warmth and cold, roughness and smoothness. Sounds do not disturb me. Thoughts come, but I note them and come back to mindfulness. Thanks to you, I experiment with walking. At about a meter from the turning point, close my eyes and feel only the soles. Then I stop and think I am here for about 1 minute. Turn, feeling left, right, left, right. After turning fully, I open my eyes and walk. Another experiment. When I walk along the corridor, having assured that there is no one in front, I close my eyes and walk. Then there are only my soles walking and exiting. The entire body is gone. I walk for 1 hour or more. mindfulness is much better. There's another question on sitting.
So when Nissarana is talking about or mentioning about the walking meditation, it says you feel like walking, closed eyes, but don't do it. Because for example, there may be some accidents. You are maybe walking, many people in the corridor, you are walking closed eyes and then accident can take place. But for me, it's another radical way. So there are a lot of ways for this kind of people. Not only you are walking closed eyes, you can walk backward. And you can walk on a parapet wall. And what about the parapet wall backward? So much of the alertness. So ultimately, of course, I am not giving any insurance or something like that, but I am telling you, experimenting. So that is called neurobics. Neurobics means the nervous circuits are going to work. When you open night and know the place, variables are fixed, you are assured, and you can do. And that is how you start. And when you go further, when you wish to develop mindfulness under dangerous situation or unpredictable situation or uncertain situation, there are a huge amount of nervous circuits in your brain. You never use it, thinking you are rich enough, nothing to use like. But they are the real assets in your human brain. If you are not using, most part of your human brain is brand new. Only 2% is used, and you call, I am rich, because my servant is doing, my secretary is doing, my computer is doing, I am just keeping the brain brand new. It says the politician's brain is 100% brand new. They never use it. So please, once you get this machine with this much of payment, use it. So that is the way neurobics, it says, when you go into the room, in the darkness maybe, don't use the torch, try to insert the key into the keyhole with the touch, and open the door, and don't put on the light, and try to go into your room without hitting furniture. And see it, that is the way you become rejuvenated. One day Sunil and myself went to Minnesota, and about the lunch is ready, we just went out and lost the path. And now people are taking a car running around, we don't have a telephone, and we were making the landmarks. Then the Sunil told, only under such circumstances only our brain is working. There was few minutes available for the lunch, we had to rush back, and we don't know where the turns we have taken. Each and every corner and the street are the same. And first time we landed on that, remember? So we consider this as mishaps. No, they are golden opportunities. If it is course, no mishaps in the life. Everything is good for neurobics. The new brain circuits to work. So unless otherwise you use it, they are always ruined and unmaintained, rusting problems. The Buddha is the person used 100%, that is called omniscient knowledge. When we become professional, we know only that subject. Beyond that, you don't know anything. That is the worst thing we did in this technology. Technology, we cornered into one subject and become expert, and we don't know the balance. Imagine a traditional farmer, he has to do everything. The climate and the equipment and the animals and the plants and the family and everything. So his life is living, others are just like robots. So therefore when you are meditating, don't think that you are limiting your capacities. Upanishad used to say, meditating monks are such a lot. No one can say this is none of monk's business. Anything we can do. Who the hell come and challenge us? Because each and everyone is cornered, then they are specialized. We are not. We are ready for anything. We are following the Buddha. The first epithet of the Buddha is qualified person. Arahant. Arahant means praiseworthy and you are ready for anything, and because we are also following the suit, so ultimately you have to use, and you may find there's a male inside the brain, a female inside the brain, a mechanic inside the brain, artist inside the brain, mathematician inside the brain, but you never tap them. For each and every you have a different secretaries. Ultimately, what is that? So when you go meditation, it's a complete opening, full panoramic view. But hardly any person consider this as aesthetic. Hardly any person think that is our duty to pull the brain into full use. And if it is not so, brain is aging, senility. If you wish to make it rejuvenated, give different tasks. Walk backward, walk on a parapet wall, walk on a parapet wall backward. You can break your neck, no problem. Nothing happens. Nothing happens. So therefore, make a girl guide or a boy scout out of you. With the first and foremost guideline is be prepared. Be prepared. That is the Buddha as well as the Serbian power. So we are otherwise paralyzed people. For this good experimenting, my teacher won't be happy, but I am happy.
Second part of the question, sitting meditation, my meditation experience. Primary object, rising and falling. Even after such nice walking, I get a lot of chain thoughts or just useless thoughts. I never get emotions, but continuously disturbed by thoughts. I feel the abdominal muscle nicely rising and falling. At times it stops soon, and I go to a calm state with some thoughts coming. However, at times I plunge into an oblivion, after which I come back to the primary object. At some sittings, the head jerks from the beginning, or the head falls to a side. It is not sleep, and I straighten myself immediately. So I feel that my sati comes back. In conclusion, I feel that my mindfulness is much better in walking meditation. I think that I need much more practice in sitting meditation. Other times, I live in the SMS manner as much as possible. May you attain health and long life. May you attain Nibbana in this life. There's another one within brackets. While I taking meals, I close my eyes. So I feel there are only lips, teeth and tongue, but no body. It appears like a machine in motion.
There is only appreciation to the teacher that gradually it is developing now. Starting with thank you very much, Bhante. And unless otherwise we each and every day in the Amitrikala we have question and answers, but today is like a harvesting day.
Sorry. I was right. That was my report. I was kind of question to ask because it was getting too long, I didn't write it.
So that is why, that is the prolific. That is prolific thinking. Ultimately you miss the target. Writing, and I don't know what is to ask. You are exactly true to type. But anyway, I am giving a chance to you to raise it now.
Thing is, first thing, thank you. I will, next time I will along the parapet over that place.
Yeah.
Number two, now it is very interesting and intriguing to me to find that I am developing my mindfulness in both in meditation.
I am developing mindfulness is a bullshit. Mindfulness is not me. Mindfulness is not mine. I am developing my mindfulness. You are going to take the share.
I am developing mindfulness in while working. It is more challenging. Whereas in sitting meditation, I feel my mindfulness is not so good. Whereas in sitting meditation, you get all the entire environment conducive to for mindfulness development. So it should be the other way about. But I am developing mindfulness.
Not necessarily your character type, because you see this, you are using too much of words to express simple things. So this is what you call the inner thoughts. So when you lose the action and going to proliferate, is keep on gathering momentum. Best thing is to get engaged in the day-to-day activities, and then you are naturally mindful. If you sit and close your eyes, the proliferation starts. That is your personality trait. But I am not appreciating it. You have to understand it. So short to the point, short and sweet, no nonsense. So then only sitting meditation you can entertain the profundity. Otherwise the inner thoughts, the background thoughts, just coming and going. Of course nothing to worry, but there's a kind of a worries behind. There's a kind of a entertaining doubts, because you love this much of proliferation. You telling simple thing in lot of words. It's called Vag Bahulya. Vag Bahulya, that means using too much of it. It is from the literature point of view and the aesthetic point of view maybe, but ultimately it is taxing your peace of mind. So you have to forget about the communication, be here and now, and these kind of characters are very good while working in the day-to-day activities. You can keep the stream of consciousness. While walking you can do. Whenever you come to sit and close your eyes, the prolific thinking happens. So let it dwindle down slowly and reduce talking or writing or whatever may be, short to the point or cut off as much as possible.
I have cut off all my literary.
I doubt. If it is so, congratulations.
Reverend Bhante, is it okay to practice Asubha Sanya throughout the walking meditation and Anicca Sanya, Ashubha Sanya in sitting meditation rather than Anapanasati?
So you can use Anapanasati as the object. Within that you can see Anicca Sanya. Within that itself you can see Asubha Sanya, because Anapana you can take it as the auspicious one or unauspicious. So whatever it may be, you have to have an object. Without the Buddha says, you can't paint a picture in the sky unless there is a canvas. If you with the painted brush, if you're going to rub against the sky, never. So likewise, you have to appoint an object, appoint a benchmark, appoint a reference point, then only take the measurement, then you know the orientation. Otherwise, doing Asubha Sanya on what? Doing Anicca Sanya on what? It is like painting a picture in the sky. So simply, that is a rejection of an object or reference point. So that means no orientation, no reinforcement of data day by day, no experience counted. So therefore, appoint an object, see the changing nature of that object, that is Anicca Sanya. See the unauspicious nature of that object, the cessation of the outbreak, Asubha Sanya. So therefore, put it in a pragmatic and practical way.
Reverend Bhante, we have come across two terms in sutta addressing Lord Buddha. I think one is Bhadante and Bhante. Is it the same meaning or different? Please explain. Bhante, what is the correct word? Bhante or Bhadante?
Once earlier also occurred to me, but I have no particular. I thought Bhadante is a Sanskrit, Bhante is Pali, but that is also not true. So likewise, whenever the conversation is going on, at times people call the Buddha by Bhante, sometimes called Bhadanta, and someone tried to explain it, but still I can't remember. So it's a question. For the moment I can't give an answer. I can research, go ahead with a linguist and let you know, but it's not much important. But when you are reading, these are some kind of unclear definitions, but maybe it is a way of addressing. So you can use either, but there should have a grammatical or the linguistic answer. For the moment, I don't know.
Reverend Bhante, in Girimananda Sutta, out of the term sanya, few are not asked to practice, that is aranyagatova, rukkumulagatova, sunyagaragatova, such as asubha sanya, 1 asubha sanya, 2 pahana sanya, 3 anhiraya sanya, 4 sabba Sankharesu Anicca Sanya. Why it is so?
So they are lying within the for the meditation in the forest living. For example, when you go and sit and once you familiarize the in-breath and out-breath, and to see some facets of the in-breath out-breath, not necessary to mention that you have to go again to the forest or under a tree or sunyagara, that means solitary, you are already in it. So therefore these are deeper layers. Early part, whenever you are fixing the orientation only, that is necessary. Other sanya, it is happening once you selected your primary object. Within that it happens, so it is not specifically enumerated. In an occasion, Pandita Sahara used to say, when you go to a museum, it's a big building, and before going into the museum, you must know the location and the way and kind of thing. Once you go into the museum and you are looking from one cupboard to the other cupboard, not necessary you to understand how to go to museum, because you are inside the museum. Inside the museum, you can see one cupboard by one cupboard. They are very discrete descriptions. But once gone there, before going there you must know, once gone there, not to worry. You are already in the museum. So that is to indicate whether you are inside the object or outside the object. That's a very subtle issue, but theoretically very clear. When and where you are inside the object, nothing to talk about again, go to the forest, again sit under the tree, take the object and be familiar, it's already said. That is understood.
Venerable Bhante, once my mindfulness is fairly established, and when I hear a sound, I note it as hearing, and so further at this point, with about the second noting, I get concentrated. Very often I can stay at this level of concentration for a few minutes. At times I get excited and lose it. At times, although I try to maintain it seems to want to latch on to something. Is it practiced at this level that I need? Please advise.
Let's cope up with sounds.
Yeah.
So I am sorry that concrete is finished now. Back at home, no sounds now. After yesterday, there was a lot of noise in the concrete building, concrete business. Now it is no more, so one can't do experiment with sounds now. You understand? If they fix the concrete, so there will be a lot of silence. I am very sorry. If I can make more and more noise, I am so happy. So that is how once the child know how to get up, and soon it will learn how to walk, never stops. Then jump, then run, and all the kind of thing. So till you get up and get the balance, it's a critical thing. Once you got up and start walking, and all the kind of thing, then it will be a nuisance to the mother. Running up and down, you can't keep it. And early people, they used to tie the child to the Kurangala, the stone. Otherwise you can't leave, because soon you got. Getting up is an adventurous thing. Once got up, jumping here and there. Likewise, the mindfulness, once gained the grounds. My Venerable Dhammajiva, who taught me, an Australian monk, he told, do all the dirty things with mindfulness, completely new experience. Recently go and I challenge him. He says, I never taught you that kind of dirty things. No, I told, otherwise I won't practice mindfulness. Because I was doing only the dirty things at that time. He has do any kind of thing with mindfulness, no, you can continue it because you feel it is very frictional. It's very costing to the psychology, but doing good thing with the mindfulness is open path. So therefore in future more you are mindful. I don't know whether you have seen the Seven Samurai, the film. There's a one place that the samurai go and bring the very old lady and knock and kill on the spot. If he wish to do, he do it professionally. So likewise, anything you can do, no worries. I am not telling that you are going beyond the ethics and you have become immoral. But your mindfulness is such a robust thing, you can understand how much you are worrying about unwanted trivial things as a moral responsibility. It is idiotness. It is idiotness. When you can account for your things, this is I did mindfully, willfully and volitionally, or this is I did without a volition, without will, this I did with mindfulness, then nothing preventing you to apologize, nothing preventing you to get the punishment, because you know it. Otherwise only you are unwantedly worrying, brooding upon these mistakes. Once the mindfulness happens, your accounts are very clear, very, very transparent, and you can do anything. And after that, if it's something wrong, definitely you go and ask sympathy or apologize it, no problem. And ultimately you know how to not to do mistakes. Likewise, when the mindfulness come into being, you are completely different person. And you all the potentials, also skillfulness, your crafty and the craftsmanship, everything comes. So therefore, if you love yourself, if you have any compassion to yourself, be mindful. If you have any kind of dear and near one, teach mindfulness and let them take their own responsibility. So therefore, mindfulness is a kind of eye-opener. No limits. Sky is the limit when the mindfulness is introduced. At the beginning it is painfully slow, but once catch the ground, you can't imagine the potential of being a human.
Yeah, there's a good question from yesterday. Most Venerable Bhante, yesterday I could not remember the English term for kudukelu.
Kudukelu.
It is spiteful.
Spiteful, yeah.
This is a general question. Venerable Bhante, what are the leaves that selected for lunch, for what are they good for? With metta.
Have everyone tasted? Yes. So any citrus family, any leaves of the citrus family, the buds, mango, cashew, murunga, the moringa that I didn't tap yesterday, and the neem plants, and usually other things you take for the vegetable. So use it. It is having so much of electrolytes. These are just developing bloods, the buds, and having all the metals and electrolytes. And more you eat, lot of fiber, and don't add anything. Today also they have broken leaves and kind of nothing. Just harvest, put little salt, eat it. A long list. And if you ever go to Burma, not into the big feasts, but in day-to-day activity, they are eating a lot. So that's why I thought that if I am to marry, I would marry a Burmese lady. It is very easy to, no more expenditure for vegetables. She will go to the forest and bring everything and cook, make soups, and our ladies are not marriable. They always go to the supermarket searching for the vegetable garden, nothing. They go to the forest, bring anything and just give raw. I like very much. So each time I come to Amitirika, I am of course living in the forest, but I don't have time. When I come to Amitirika and Yatiyantoda, I take 30 minutes, 40 minutes and harvest eating. So many are not happy with that. Because it is no label, no price tag, no polythene, and not in the supermarket desk. So they are not happy. But imagine this area, no chemicals, completely the natural, eating like a cow.
Including cocoa.
Neem plants.
Yeah.
Yeah, the plant is there. Neem plants.
Neem is coconut.
So lot of other things are there. These are the things came to my mind. But anyway, today question and answer session is good. But many questions are very practical. And already we have reached 5 o'clock. Sunil, anything has to mention? One. Yes.
Sorry, can I ask one question from the Dhammajiva?
Yeah.
You mentioned about 3 very essential factors for a meditator: non-judgmental, even suspended attention, and the third one?
Unassuming, non-reactionary.
I just want to say that I think it is very possible that Devas have been very happy that we are having this retreat at Amsterdam. It has been raining the whole week, and then all of a sudden this morning we had a shower and it's all clear. So I think that is a good sign. So I hope you all learned and practice meditation, and may you all attain Nibbana.
But I saw many lose their tightened belts and start talking. Don't repeat it. That I saw, but I just do not want to make the situation sour. I would otherwise I'll jump and kick you all. Please. Now we are in the long retreat. Maintain the momentum. Maintain the peace of mind. And I feel very uncomfortable. Because I am such a person, I can't maintain my temper. So don't repeat it. Of course it is good. Not I am going to give the bad black spot into the Sunil's picture. But talking. And generally I have to give that kind of a warning when the long retreats are happening. And people get together and talking like ants get together, and there's a kind of communication among ants. When they are walking up and down, meeting and talking and kind of thing. Don't repeat it. And otherwise, good. Okay, so we are going to share meditate with all the seen and unseen beings. Sunil mentioned about Devas, and reminding our dear and near ones, and remembering and straightening our objectives. With that idea, we are going to recite traditional stanzas, and those who know may follow as usual, others may listen attentively. Ittavata jangammihi sambhatam punya sampadam sabbe deva anumodantu sabba sampatti siddhya. Ittavata jangammihi sambhatam punya sampadam sabbe bhuta anumodantu sabba sampatti siddhya. Sambatam punya sampadam sabbe sattanumodantu sabba sampatti siddhya. Akasattha jagummattha devanaga mahittika punyantang anumoditva chiram rakhantu sasanam. Akasattha jagummattha devanaga mahittika punyantang anumoditva chiram rakhantu desanam. Akasattha jagummattha devanaga mahittika punyantang anumoditva chiram rakhantu mang param. Idang vo ñātīnaṁ hotu sukita hontu ñātayo. Idang vo ñātīnaṁ hotu sukita hontu ñātayo. Idang vo ñātīnaṁ hotu sukita hontu ñātayo. Imina punya kammena mami bala samagamo සතං සමාගමෝ හෝතු යාව නිපානපත්තිය ඉමිනා පුඤ්ඤ කම්මේන මාමේ බාල සමාගමෝ සතං සමාගමෝ හෝතු යාව නිපානපත්තිය ඉමිනා පුඤ්ඤ කම්මේන මාමේ බාල සමාගමෝ සතං සමාගමෝ හෝතු යාව නිපානපත්තිය සාදු සාදු සාදු. connection එක අපිට